The first round of the FORL Cup Series playoffs have already given us exciting moments, shock removals, and after, of course, a Watkins Glen win from Andrew Cootie, we eliminated our first 4 drivers out of the picture. The round of 11 begins tonight, and where else but NASCAR's most chaotic track to get things going once again in Season 3 of the FORL Cup Series. This is the SB Designs 266, the longest race of the season at the fastest track on the tour, and 7 minutes and 30 seconds remain on the timing sheet as Hunter Bogdan jumps up to second. Jacob Wilkerson currently holds the provisional pole and finds himself there with over 20 drivers registered. A rebound night as the field size grows once again, and we're expecting to see more than 20 drivers take the green flag to get things going in what will be the second round of playoff competition. Great to have you all watching live again on FTN. I'll be your host throughout all of tonight's broadcast. David Kreutz commentating and producing, and we're sure to have a great night of action with a lot of high-quality competitors all throughout. One driver in particular making his debut, getting out of the race control role, going into the racing itself. Zach Milano going to be making his very first start in the 023 machine from Marconi Setup Shop, and that purple number 023 going to be working around this time by, as you can see, representing Marconi Setup Shop with the rookie stripes and all, taking it from race control and hoping to control this race. Zach Milano currently finds himself 15th on the timing sheet unofficially, set to take his first time lap this time by, and 12 drivers have taken up to the track this point onward. We could expect to see more from Milano, and it looks like Ross Corlett, as Ross is on the track at the same time, and it finds himself down the back straightaway. Number 91 machine, sponsored by a Rod Car, going to be running down the back stretch into turns 3 and 4. Number 91 machine with a win in Atlanta, our most recent super speedway style track, and now number 91 machine looks to go back-to-back at the high-speed ovals. Tonight, though, going to be a bit different. We'll get into that many ways. We're going to see some different strategy calls as the night goes on. Joseph Lewis now finds himself 13th on the board in the number 28. Zach Milano jumps up to 6th on his very first lap and looks to be quick once again, so he has the potential to maybe go even further up on the board as Zach takes it around the Alabama Gang super stretch this time by and keeps a hot lap going. Right on board right now with the number 023 machine as Zach Milano comes across the stripe this time by. And for the first time, driver Zach Milano running very well so far in qualifying, finds himself 7th on the board as it looks like Michael Deitch takes it up to 5th. At the line, still a bit of room for improvement, and the call is going to be for the number 023 to jump up. Looks like no other spot, so it's going to be 7th place for Milano. Not a bad qualifying run in the slightest, as Joseph Lewis takes it down to pit road this time by. He'll be starting at best in 13th. Ross Corlett likewise going to be starting at the highest in the 14th spot if there's no major improvement, and major improvement there is. Corlett up to 3rd on that lap, and Ross going to find himself inside the top 3 as a result. Dustin Pickle also going to be on the way, and Dustin's going to make it across the line this time through, seeing some success from his teammates so far, and Dustin wants to get a piece of that as he comes across the stripe this time by. Waiting now on lap times from Justin Mons, now Brandon Ritzmiller, Joey Stone, and Anthony Trippi, not to mention defending winner Andrew Cootie. However, it appears that Cootie will be not taking a time intentionally. Anthony Trippi has reconnected after a minor internet issue, so we're waiting on him for that reason. And Joey Stone most often likes to take laps later in the session to make sure he's got the expertise of other drivers to guide him where he should go from this point onward. 4 minutes left in qualifying as it stands, and drivers taking times around the circuit. Dustin Pickle, one of the many, and that number 21 runs so far now, going through his first lap of qualifying, scored unofficially in the 17th spot, but it could be as high as 1st as Dustin comes across this time around. Pole position is still up for grabs. Jacob Wilkerson has it by 38 1/1000ths. Dustin runs that time by at 54.292. Gonna jump up to 15th, but not much else. So with qualifying still ongoing, Dustin Pickle's on the track, not to mention Anthony Trippi has just returned. So it looks like the 84 machine, after some troubles with connection, gets back on the way, and Anthony Trippi takes to the track for the first time all night long under qualifying condition. 10 minutes of qualifying, benefiting frustrating for a driver like Trippi, who was not able to make that first run, with a lot of other drivers immediately getting things going. Now Anthony's going to have a chance for 3 minutes to himself as Dustin Pickle will make it around turns 3 and 4, come back down the front straightaway, and make it to the start-finish line to conclude his qualifying run. Looks quick so far, 54.291 on his most recent lap, but looks to be about 1 second quicker than average as he goes all the way down to the apron, runs it way down the bottom, trying to get everything out of the car. At the line for Dustin Pickle, it's going to be all the way up into 5th on the board, and for 15th, huge improvement. Dustin Pickle jumps up high to the top 5 in qualifying. Anthony Trippi now going to be on the way in the Madden 2012 machine, and the only driver right now taking a time lap is Anthony Trippi as the number 84 machine is back on the circuit. In addition, it is going to be waiting for Joey Stone and Brandon Rismiller, not to mention Justin Mons. All drivers right now not going to have a chance to go out any further. Looks like some penalties are already going to be put into place. Hunter Whitlock, and in addition, it looks like Wesley Kutznoff alike going to be starting at the back of the field. It's a penalty due to not having their playoff banners on, so an end-of-line penalty for 2 drivers before things get going. That's going to impact Wesley Kutznoff, who is going to be starting in 12th if he didn't have the penalty, and also gets to Hunter Whitlock, who would be set to start in 8th. End-of-line penalties already going to be assigned as Anthony Trippi is set to take the final 2 laps in qualifying today. When his qualifying laps are over, no other driver will have a time to set a lap down, so he is going to be the one who really tells the tale of who has a chance to run a qualifying lap, who opts to stay in the back of the field, and who opts to do it a bit different here to kick things off at a 100-lap feature in Talladega. 266 miles, and Daytona, which was our other big plate track on the season. It gave us a lot of chaotic racing, but ironically gave us one of the cleanest races all year long. It was a 1 caution race over 250 miles, and we got to the end under green. So if that's the pace that we can keep on setting as we go through these plate races, it would be fantastic to see long green flag runs and some great racing in the mix as well. Not as many drivers as that season opener at Daytona, which touched 35 and then some. We only have just over 20 tonight, so we should maybe even get even cleaner racing, but there's a few more factors that go into it this time by. As we come through, it's going to be Michael Deitch in 8th, Anthony Trippi in 7th, the only drivers remaining on the track. Now time to find out who is starting where as we get things going for the first time tonight. It's going to be 100 laps of racing in the SP Designs 266, and without further ado, this is your starting grid for the opening race of the round of 11. Championship battle is still ongoing, and Jacob Wilkerson, the rookie sensation, finds himself in the pole position yet again after several victories within the past 5 races. Jacob Wilkerson back on top with a 53.27, your Daytona winner, pole position right beside Alex Jones. And Jones finds himself there in second with a 53.308. Third place going to be held by Atlanta winner Ross Corlett. And Atlanta winner Ross Corlett, we keep that in mind, it's a super speedway style track now, not as big as Talladega or Daytona. Still, it's a very similar format, so Corlett with experience starts in 3rd with defending champion Max Molina starting 4th, and Dustin Pickle with a 53.392 rounds out the top 5. James Thurston, after a shock first-round exit, no chance to go after a title this season, will still be racing and he'll be starting in 6th with 53.406, and Anthony Trippi finds himself in 7th at number 84 with a 53.409, his best qualifying time. Then from there, it's going to be Michael Deitch starting in position number 8, and Deitch is going to be there with a 53.43, and Hunter Whitlock, number 5, is going to be sent to the back of the field. Qualifying speed was good for 9th place, 53.455, with Zach Milano rounding at the top 10 on debut with a 53.465 time. 11th place then going to be held by Ethan Workman and a 53.468. Chance Parker, one of the guys fighting to hold on last week at Watkins Glen, is going to be here tonight in the 12th spot, and it's going to be a 53.484 for Chance Parker, as Wesley Kutznoff will go to the back of the field. He did not choose to take qualifying time. Of course, we're looking in the back of the field. Those drivers did not, but Wesley Kutznoff, same outcome. So Wesley going to be sent back of the pack. Hunter Bogdan starting 14th with a 53.496, and Henry Kaloff rounds out your top 15 of drivers with a 53.519, and Joseph Lewis takes the final time lap, 53.587 for the number 28. Justin Mons is going to opt not to take a time. He will be starting 17th with Joey Stone 18th, and then Andrew Cootie finds himself 19th with Bryce Hamrick, your race control, not in this event. Brandon Rismo is the 20th and final driver of those attempting this race in the SP Designs 266, and that is your starting grid from Talladega. Just like that, the starting grid has been set. Drivers set to go in formation tonight. And while we mentioned this is going to be a long race, we also have a different strategy to keep in mind. 50% fuel tank, which is going to be the first time all season long we have a very strict limit to play with, which means that it's going to be all about going for pit stops. A 19-lap fuel run at the best, so drivers don't have a lot of time to manage what they have in store. They're going to have short fuel runs, frequent pit stops, and that might give us an opportunity to go green flag racing that much longer. The more time we have under green, most often determined by whether or not we get to those green flag pit stops, and if we get more of those green flag cycles, then drivers will be more strung apart. It's going to be tricky to break out of that cycle if we go wrong and get a stronger run in. As you see right now, Wilkerson and Alex Jones leading the remainder of the field as they come through this time by. Getting our drone camera active as the pack is going to fly right under us. Turns 1 and 2, over 30 degrees of banking, the 2.66 mile circuit, the longest oval in stock car racing. And as the field flies by once more and heads down to the Alabama Gang super stretch, they get about a mile's worth of time to push it at speeds of over 185 miles an hour consistently. And with little variation in speed, the draft will really carry you through, and communication and teamwork all come into play. The fans line up in the grandstands and they line up in the infield alike. You'll see the scale of this track is almost unbelievable. And once again, the drivers are set to go through as they come across that front straightaway and get back into motion. 100 green flag laps for our second round of the FORL Cup Series playoffs. And when they cross that line after the end of 100 trips in Talladega, we'll know who comes out a winner and who needs to keep doing that work to fight another night in the championship table. Jacob Wilkerson, who finds himself as the overall points leader with another fantastic round under his belt, has no worries tonight, but needs to keep that momentum in his favor. It's not at all an easy situation to be in with these drivers coming through this time by. 0 laps in of 100. We will head to lap number 1, and Jacob Wilkerson will lead us to the green. Wilkerson first, it's Alex Jones in second, and the front row going to be leading themselves this time by. The pace car drops down to the inside line, and the field is set to get things going from Talladega. Get ready, Alabama. It's time to get loud as the drivers come across the line this time by. The green flag will fly in the SP Designs 266, and we are underway in the round of 11. And at the line, Jacob Wilkerson leads the way to get things going from Talladega. Mostly 2x2 driving with 20 drivers in the field taking the green flag. Joaquin Stewart and, of course, Bryce Hamrick both going to be race control for this event. The rest of the pack gets things going nicely. Some 3 wide back of the field, but overall, side-by-side is the norm as they play 2x2 going down the Alabama Gang super stretch all over again. Jacob Wilkerson's going to lead the field with Anthony Trippi making big moves up in front already. Side-by-side for the most part, and drivers understand the implications so late in the season. At Daytona, the reason we had a 1 caution race is ironically in itself because of an incident. Dustin Pickle in the very first lap, in the very first turn, went around sliding, multiple drivers went spinning, and we had only 1 caution called later in the going because that wreck did not find itself as a called caution. We went almost 85 laps under green, and it was a very nice race to see a change of pace, but tonight in Talladega, it's going to be either exactly the same or the polar opposite. Still can't be told just yet. Just depends on how the drivers manage it. You'll see teammates working together already. As we mentioned, communication, a very big deal on the racing circuit, and already it's playing in the hands of the number 91 of Ross Corlett, and he takes his teammate Dustin Pickle right up there with them. 3 laps in, you'll see Justin is going to be up to the high side for a brief moment, and now Jacob Wilkerson goes down to the bottom. Jacob Wilkerson takes it down low, and your former race leader, of course, getting that pole position, wants it back once again. Side by side, 2 rows deep, and James Thurston, while not in a championship fight, comes prepared with a special paint scheme, a throwback to Kevin Harvick in his days known as the closer. The 2007 Daytona 500 winner paint scheme is back on display, this time in Alabama, but still looking for a plate race victory all the same. Now Thurston getting in the back bumper of Wilkerson, pushing him through the straightaway. Max Molina right there as well, and mostly 2x2 races. We look at the wide-angle camera once again. You'll see the fans crowding the stands, looking on as the drivers get things going. Zach Milano is going to make it 3 wide, and as Zach goes through, it's going to be the number 23 machine of Ethan Workman going up top. As Thurston makes a block, it's going to be a bit of a shuffle. Middle groove gets packed up, and while there's only 2 grooves right now, they're all racing fiercely for every spot that's on the table. So don't count out a driver from the middle of the field right now. They can make that charge up in front, and in no time, you see some new guys at the head of the field looking to get a bit more aggressive and taking those spots for the run. New race leader James Thurston at 5 laps in. Your former playoff contender finds himself at the head of the field. It's Thurston in first, Jacob Wilkerson then second, Max Molina rounds out the podium, and 4th place then going to be held by Ross Corlett, as the ever-fluctuating top 5 is now capped off by Chance Parker. That's the way they run so far, with the number 42 machine right down low. Michael Deitch is going to be in the mix as well. 5 laps in, they keep it side by side in tandem with one another. As you'll see now, Joseph Lewis going to be in the bottom. He's in 11th, and another pack is forming a bit further back here. Andrew Cootie, Zach Milano, Dustin Pickle, Hunter Bogdan, and Anthony Trippi all choosing to lay back right now, but not quite sure how long that's going to last. As we mentioned tonight, the fuel load for these drivers is substantially lower than any other night in the season. For reference, we've been able to go to the Daytona or Talladega in previous seasons and only have 1 or 2 pit stops at the most. We're expecting 3 to 4 pit stops at a minimum tonight, because the fuel load only goes up to about 19 laps apiece in each and every run. So despite the fact that it's a very long haul, we're going to see some sprints repeating each other. Sprint after sprint after sprint, and that's exactly the way it goes for a driver like James Thurston and Wilkerson, guys who want to command that strategy and make those calls for the field. They have to understand that right now, if you aren't making the right decisions, you're going to be shuffled out of line in no time. And 6 laps into 100, Jacob Wilkerson goes right up high, Thurston way down low, and Wilkerson's got the advantage at the stripe. Jacob Wilkerson, your new race leader once again, as Ross Corlett goes up top to redeem himself, losing his spots in earlier laps, and already 7 laps in, makes that charge right back up. Henry Kaloff can have some new colors tonight in the yellow jack number 63, and a bit of a different look for Kaloff as he finds himself once again at the head of the field, looking to re-identify himself as a driver that's competitive week in, week out. And for Henry Kaloff Racing, the FORL gas number 63 already running very solid. His best finish in FORL Cup Series competition came in the Tricky Triangle 200 this season at the Pocono Raceway. Found himself with a 2nd place finish after running a very risky strategy, only to be bested by James Thurston just barely at the end of the night. But Kaloff showed what he was made of and shows that if there's ever an opportunity, this number 63 will come and at the very least try to take it from the rest of the field. Look further back, Wesley Kutznoff going to be there as well, and right now Wesley runs up high in the 11th spot with Alex Jones way down low. Weaving and bobbing back and forth, they're mostly double file once again as you take it now through lap 8. Backstretch will be led by Jacob Wilkerson with a run up high, going to take one driver right up, and that's going to be Ethan Workman, making some moves for a 3rd group to get going. And already a push to go 3 wide. We'll see how well that works out, because we're so early into this one, you can't afford to waste your equipment, lose what you got. There's no fast repair in the FORL Cup Series, and with so many green flag pit stops that you fall off a cycle because of damage or otherwise, there's going to be a very slim chance of recovering as the night continues. Jacob Wilkerson comes across the stripe this time by, and at the line, he'll lead lap number 9 of 100 this time through. Lap 9, as always, an FTN presented to you by our friends at Tango Paints and the highest quality paint scheme and graphic design providers on the iRacing market once again bring this coverage to you. Tango Paints provides high quality iRacing paint schemes and liveries for no matter your racing discipline, no matter your experience on the sim. Your one-stop shop for all your graphic design needs is Tango Paints, no matter what you need indeed. For a lot of guys in the FORL Cup Series such as Justin Moggs and Joey Stone, Tango Paints is their trusted source for all iRacing graphic design material. And tonight, if you want to join the fun, check out Tango Paints on Twitter, spelled exactly as you see in the top right of your screen. Tango Paints brings you Lap 9 on FTN Live, and we'll bring you back after a brief promotional break, courtesy of our friends Toll Owen and the entire Tango Paints team. And heading now to the double digits, 10 laps in, Hunter Whitlock finds himself a new race leader, fight with Michael Deitch. New drivers at the forefront as Jacob Wilkerson splits them three, and they're shuffling high and low already, making big moves halfway into our first fuel run of the night. A strategy race at Talladega unlike any other. Expect many pit stops and many risky moves alike as Jacob Wilkerson returns to top form. Leads lap 10 this time, but gets them up to lap number 11 with Henry Kaloff right there as well. Not to mention Alex Jones, Hunter Bogdan, and Brandon Rismiller. That is your top five as we go through. Drivers on the high side establishing themselves up there, trying to get away from the field, trying already to log some laps and go to the end of the night. Now, logging laps is a very hard thing to get drivers to agree with, because if you're complacent up in front, you got your reason. However, if you're a guy there behind the top 10, shall we say, look at guys like Workman, Kutznoff, Ross Corlett, guys who are clearly not complacent, guys who are making moves as we speak. How do you get them to agree that you should be up in front and that they should be back there? That's the big challenge in communication in these races, because when you get into the formation of a logging lap single file up top, it's a very challenging process. If some guys disagree, if enough guys disagree, you're going to have no luck. And right now, I think they're doing this not because of the competition in trading places, but instead understanding the first pit cycle is now closer and closer to its conclusion, and this is going to be newfound territory for every driver. To recap what we've seen tonight, tonight's going to be a bit different in terms of strategy overall. The reason we have a 50% fuel limit here at Talladega, which means every fuel run will be cut in half. We're going to see multiple pit stops as the night goes on, 3 and 4 at the minimum. So if drivers want to make it around the track in one piece, they have to set themselves up for a proper pit cycle or two before all goes into the bottom side of the circuit. Looks like it's going to be one driver weaving and bobbing up and down, going to be able to save it there. That looked to be Brandon Rismiller, caught up in the act, and Brandon keeps it going to the Mike's Hard Lemonade number 77 machine, close to losing it, almost looking he'd commit down to pit road, but chooses not to, and instead slops right back up high. Jacob Wilkerson will now lead from Henry Kaloff. Then in second, third place is going to be in the Alex Jones territory, and the 045 machine runs now inside the podium as they come through this time by right on board with Alex Jones inside the cockpit of this Chevy Camaro. Looking on board right now with Alex Jones, you'll see the rear view mirror coming alive. At the same time, very few drivers ahead of him, but still not all clean skies. As you can see right now, one driver going to drop down to the bottom, and that looks to be the number 23 of Ethan Workman. Taking a look across the cockpit, there's nobody side by side yet with the top three, but it looks like that will change. Workman making moves, he'll take it right down low, and as Ethan tries to make a run against your leaders on the outside line, Max Molina also goes right there with him. Looking at the cockpit, the rear view mirror is going to show you a lot more information as drivers blink in and out of his perspective. There Workman goes, and just like that, the inside line comes into form once again. Jacob Wilkerson will lead, and Alex Jones is going to fade back a bit more so as the come through this time by is going to be Brandon Rismiller, the man who finds himself now leading on the high side for a brief moment, drops back once again. Rismiller is going to be there with Jacob Wilkerson. Max Molina takes Ethan Workman all the way through, and the Hub Motorsports drivers, the pair up in front, decides to race one another nicely as Workman blinks out once. Molina's there to support his teammates, and they'll rush down the back straightaway all over again. 15 laps in of 100, thoughts already of a first pit stop run. Now it's going to be a drop down to the bottom for Max Molina. He takes it down to the low side, and there's Ethan Workman right there with them. Teammates already coming back into play. Locking in with your teammates so early will set you up for success. That's almost a guarantee. And knowing how much time there is remaining, if you can begin to practice those moves, understand the environment around you, and have your teammate right there with you to keep up, it's going to be a great advantage when the race comes into its most clutch moments. If you understand how to execute with your team around you, you'll surely have a much better chance at victory, and that's what happened at Atlanta, our most recent superspeedway style track. While Ross Corlett runs alone with his teammates running 18th and 19th respectively, Ross was able to get some assistance from Dustin Pickle and Andrew Judy. The team was running 1, 2, 3 up at the head of the field, and eventually, as chaos came into play as it always does at the modern Atlanta configuration, Ross Corlett was able to swoop away with the win and come home with his first career victory, which keeps his championship hopes alive to potentially go into back-to-back Final Fours here in the FORL Cup Series. And Ross Corlett has told us here, the FTN crew, that his goal is to make a bit more of a statement. Right now, he finds himself in the 10th place, and he's had a great season so far. Came into the playoffs as the defending regular season runner-up, and James Thurston, our regular season champion, is already out of championship contention. So that's how quick things can change. For all intents and purposes, Corlett still has a fighting chance, and 17 laps in, he might not be up there in the front of the field directly, but he's still with the draft where you want to be so early in the night. Now as they rush down once again, Jacob Wilkerson, Alex Jones, and Hunter Whitlock first, second, third. That podium remains on the high side, though, as it's going to be Henry Kaloff, Max Molina, and Ethan Workman down low, driving one another on the bottom side. Now we're very close to that pit cycle, as we mentioned, and you'll see drivers come through this time by Jacob Wilkerson down and in. He'll bring Molina, Wesley Kutznoff as well. A small group comes in this time by, and it's our first formation of 4 that comes in now. Andrew Cootie, Zach Milano, Dustin Pickle, they're going to come through as well, and just like that, pit road gets busy, and we have ourselves a pit stop cycle for the first time tonight. Keep an eye out for how many green flag stops we intend to have. It's going to be a very, very hard race to keep up with the lead pack all night long, because you've got to be perfect on pit road, not once, not twice, but it could go up to 4 times on pit road. That entry, that exit, every second matters. And for a driver, no matter their level of expertise, that's very hard to pull off in high-stakes situations. Of course, the round of 11 right now, few drivers remain, but those that do are the best in the business, and they know every point matters. Coming down this time by Whitlock, going to be with Thurston. Dead even at the line. Thurston gets the jump and brings down Deitch, Corlett, Henry Kaloff, Hunter Bogdan, Alex Jones. They all come in with no trouble. Luckily, no issue comes of it, and it looks like it's going to be the Ancient World teammates, the final of which to make it through this time by. Just like that, pit road getting it busy once again, looking alive as James Thurston makes it down. It looks like Jacob Wilkerson will be your effective race leader when all is said and done. It's going to be the number 43 machine with a 3-car bundle up at the head of the field. 4th place is then going to be, effectively speaking, in Brandon Rismiller, and there Anthony Trippi finds himself rounding out our current effective top 5, but he has to come down to pit road and take a look at this. We've got ourselves more drivers on the field. Cootie, Pickle, Milano on the way. They're going to get much slowed down, though, as Chance Parker now gets back on. And you'll see the bundle of drivers we had early on is already fading away to a string of single file for the most part. Now, Jacob Wilkerson and his 3-car pack is going to be caught up to largely by Thurston and company, but there's a bit of a gap from Henry Kaloff on back, and the odds now that Alex Jones and the like will be able to catch up to Henry Kaloff are slim, but not none. Kaloff lays back, trying to play the perfect strategy. It might be possible, bundle, but it still is not probable. Gotta be perfect from here on out to catch up to the draft, as now looks like 7 or 8 drivers get away clearly and go from there. Wilkerson leads the way 19 laps in of 100, and now Max Molina second, Wesley Kutznoff in third, and James Thurston fourth, with Hunter Whitlock rounding out the top 5. Take a look at our wide-angle camera once again to get a bit more of an understanding of what's going on here, and we'll try to get it over the track, not right beside it. You'll see we have a 6-car bundle right now at the head of the field. Then we got these guys up ahead. They are 3, and they are all alone. I mean, I'll tell you this much. It's a huge gap for Wilkerson, and like, if it's 2 seconds, you can hold on to that, and you can even gain from it. However, if Thurston and his group gets bunched up better, that's when there's going to be trouble in play, because if you can get away right now, you can continue to gain tenths of seconds, even gain full seconds. However, if you don't make it happen in these early stages, you'll be caught up too fast. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Thurston is a rocket ship, and this time he's going to cut the gap down by half a second, if not more. It's a 3-car bundle, and they're going as quick as they possibly can, but not enough. At the line, end of lap number 20 leads us to lap 21. Wilkerson leads them. Thurston's going to be coming back quick, though. I'm now less than 1.2 seconds to spare, as this number 4 machine keeps up like a rocket ship. Look further back, you're going to see another pack in play. Chance Parker, Justin Mons, Henry Kaloff, Alex Jones, and as we mentioned, they lost a lot of time, and a 3-second gap now is developed from Ethan Workman all the way down to that number 42 of Chance Parker. They're coming down the Alabama Gang super stretch, but not in the same place, only at the same time. And the separation between your top 10 drivers now goes through 5 seconds. 5 seconds between first and 10th, and now 17 drivers on the lead lap, going back to Dustin Pickle, Joseph Lewis, and defending winner in Andrew Cootie. As we mentioned, race winners can be turned into zeros tonight. When it comes down to it, if you can't manage pit road, you practically can't manage the race. And it was a 35-second pit stop for Andrew Cootie, 5 seconds slower than the average pit stop for the rest of the field. Joseph Lewis with a 41.1 second stop, an abysmal effort there. And it looks like for Joseph Lewis's sake, he has the slowest pit stop of the night. After Lewis, a very hard time to get back going up in front. If there's any opportunity, Dustin Pickle also a slow stop, but not as egregious. 33.4 second time on pit road for the Rod car, number 21. Up in front, though, Max Molina is going to see some pressure as James Thurston lies down low and already side by side once again. However, we'll see how much longer this lasts. It's a very small crew up in front of the field, and they're actually gaining time. That time by, they're going to make the gap 5 seconds to Chance Parker, and that's enough to keep on going with extensions to that lead. Single file for these guys who are trying to chase back the leaders, but they're not quick enough, at least for the time being. Less than 50-second laps for the guys who are in this first pack. It's about a 50.5-second lap for Chance Parker and company. They're running things a bit different right now in that second group. James Thurston and his leaders have been able to run away and make it very, very fast. You'll see they go back single file once again, understanding the circumstance right now and trying to make it to the end of the race might be the best case scenario, as 23 laps in, it's going to be Thurston and his group making it lap after lap, getting quicker and quicker than the rivals further on back. Chance Parker, though, is not out of frame, and that time by tries to keep up, but is still about 5 seconds out of reach. We'll check the line times this time through. It's going to be at the start-finish line, a 50.163 for James Thurston, and for Jacob Wilkerson, a 50.219 for Justin Mons, a 50.223 for Chance Parker, a 50.24. So in all intents and purposes, that's about a dead even lap between those two groups, as they're now single file once again. Looks like those guys were actually a bit faster when they were side by side as opposed to right now, so a bit of a change in terms of how things are going, as the front runners have broken away and now have several seconds to play with, as the second pack and further on back opt to get a bit more risky with each other, now knowing that this is the competition they'll have to deal with all night long. 24 laps in at 100 this time through. James Thurston leads the way, Ross Corlett going to be second, and Hunter Whitlock is third, with Jacob Wilkerson position number 4, and at the quarter-way point already, they're side by side for the race lead as we take it through 1 and 2. once again, gonna get our drone cameras back in motion, but this time as we are under green, take it for a reverse track walk around Talladega, one of the most historic circuits in stock car racing for use for over 55 years of action come 2024. First used in 1969 as an exhibition event, not necessarily an exhibition, but it was a points event that went sour. The original Talladega event, the first 500-miler, was filled by sportsman drivers as opposed to Grand National drivers. The Grand National Series is equivalent to the NASCAR Cup Series of today, and the Sportsman Series the equivalent to the Xfinity Series of the modern era, due to safety concerns and how fast this track was, how tires were shredded lap after lap. Sportsman drivers with slower engines and less performance in their equipment were eligible to compete in a Grand National event, and that's what kicked off the legend of Talladega. That was Richard Childress, and his very first start in NASCAR came that day at Talladega, and despite the fact it was such an odd circumstance, it's led to decades of history in stock car racing ever since. Here on iRacing, though, this scan of Talladega is several years old, if not over a decade age, and you might see it's a bit more simple than other racing layouts on this platform. However, still as accurate as it can get with laser scan circuit, and you'll see now as the next-gen cup cars come by roaring through our camera platform, you'll see there's Justin Mons with his teammates, and as we get lower and lower to the ground, you notice something about pit road and the pit entry and exit alike. They're very fast as well, as if the track didn't have enough grip and enough banking. Pit road's entry and exit does as well, almost enough for its own track, and you can get up to speeds of about 160 miles an hour before even getting on the main racing surface. That's why pit stops, despite being so frequent tonight, might not be as risky for a driver who really knows their ins and outs, quite literally, as the caution will fly. Yellow flag is going to be out for the first time tonight, and the reason looks to be back of the field, Zach Milano, but that's going to be for a driver who's 7 laps down. Instant replay shows he's been on pit road for a total now of 7 laps. No other call being made, and we're going to try to find out why the caution flies, as 27 laps in, we're under yellow for the first time today. And the yellow flag will fly with the number 57, a Michael Deitcher race leader. Ethan Workman going to be second, and Jacob Wilkerson then in third. That is your podium as it stands. We get regrouped for another run here in Talladega. We'll take it back to our immediate replay and try to find out a bit more about this circumstance, as now under yellow for the first time tonight, 28 laps in out of 100. Instant replay going to show the packs look to be in formation to get things going. Very small pack in the back of the field, and then there you'll see Ross Corlette's going to get loose. Everyone actually gets loose and keeps it straight, so a fantastic job, and that's going to be the caution cause. A bit of a quick call to bring it back under yellow, but you'll see some fantastic effort throughout the field to stay straight, as opposed to having an incident there. Yellow flag will fly, and the instant replay will show you one more time. Quick thinking on all drivers' accounts to get things going as we take it 60 seconds back here. Looks like we're taking it a bit further to back, so we'll take it a little more in the future. Instant replay will show you a bit more. They get very loose. One driver in the wall, and Ross Corlett. Max Molina drops down the apron. Justin Mons there. So is Hunter Whitlock. And for all intents and purposes, most of the field stays straight. Caution will fly. 28 laps in of 100. Michael Deitch, your race leader, as they'll take it down to pit road. This time through for another chance at pit road. Deitch going to lead him in, and we got ourselves another busy opportunity as drivers make their way in. Only one driver opting to stay out, and that would be the lap machine of Hunter Bogdan. Anthony Trippi also opting to stay there as well. Pit road gets active, though, once again, and the cycle is going to extend the amount of time these drivers have. Our apologies there, until about lap 50. A breathtaking event so far, quite literally, as we find ourselves on pit road for the second time tonight. Michael Deitch gets moving, only to be barely outdone by Jacob Wilkerson. Then you're going to see Alex Jones getting through. Ross Corlette's going to be beaten now, looks to be by Bogdan, not to mention Henry Kaloff. You'll see there Justin Mons, Andrew Cootie, Hunter Whitlock, Chance Parker, Brandon Rismiller, and Joey Stone. And just like that, pit road is going to be in and out for most drivers, as Jacob Wilkerson leads the way, and Michael Deitch now finds himself in the second position. As Deitch and company come through this time by 29 laps in of 100. A long night here in Talladega. So how's about we get ourselves an interview with the driver of the number 57. Currently running in the second spot, Michael Deitch having a great night so far, leading some laps and finding himself up in front of the field. So we'll get Michael Deitch in here now to see how he's feeling as we come back for our first restart of the day. Michael Deitch, you find yourself as the second place driver right now, leading at our caution, and so far a clean race at Talladega as we bring it back for our first caution of the night. How have you felt so far up in front of the field here in Alabama?
I'm feeling good, man. This car is really fast. I'm very confident about what we're able to do here tonight, and and I'm just looking forward to seeing how the rest of this race goes.
Looking forward to the future, and I'll tell you this much, the strategy is a big thing. We've already seen 2 pit stops in 29 laps. That's not frequent here at Talladega, so how's it like dealing with this new strategy call because we have a limited fuel tank to work with?
It's different, that's for sure. I didn't even realize how small it was until I started gridding, so I had to, adjust accordingly, and so far it's working out for us.
And working out quite well so far. Tell you this much, Michael, we only have 1 lap to green coming this time by. So we'll get back to double file, and you got anything else to tell us before we get back on the move?
Let's see. I just want to keep going fast and hopefully finish up front.
And hoping for an up-front finish, Michael Deitch keeps things going. The Ricky Bobby throwback tonight. Talladega night for him, going so far, so good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with Michael Deitch on the way, we'll bring the number 57 back to his voice chat as he keeps things going. So far, a very good race at Talladega, and our first caution is out. That matches our total from Daytona, but I'll tell you this much, very clean to this point, and the tire strategy, as we mentioned, keeps these guys separate, and they'll come through this time by, getting it again for the SP Designs 266. This is your first caution of the night. We'd like to thank Scott Puckett and the entire SP Designs team for coming on board in the FORL Cup Series to keep these races sponsored for the remainder of the tour. 30 laps in, out of 100, Jacob Wilkerson, Alex Jones, and Michael Deitch find themselves in the top 3, with Max Molina 4th, 5th place being held then by Henry Kaloff, and 6th, Wesley Kutznoff. That's the way they roll. So far, so good, and I'll tell you this much, if you're watching right now on FTN, we'd love to have you join the fun as a subscriber to this channel. We are less than 10 subscribers away from the big 1,300. We'd love to hit that tally before the end of October, just a few days away now, and I think we got a very realistic shot at doing just that. So stay with us here in FTN as we hope to hit 1,300 to kick off November, and FTN going to bring you a lot more action to wrap off the season here, the broadcasting season, shall we say, and move on to another successful year, hopefully in 2024. I got a lot we planned already for the future of this one, and the FORL Cup Series growing as well. And tonight at Talladega, you've seen great green flag racing. Chance Parker given an end-of-line penalty. He will start at the rear of the field, and coming through this time by, will get set to go at it once again. iRacing official Pace Truck will drop way down low, let the field get back to business. Jacob Wilkerson, as we mentioned, your pole sitter before things got started tonight. He got it in qualifying, has it up in front once again. Time to run through with our very first restart of the night. Wilkerson and Alex Jones are going to control the point as the green flag flies. Restart number 1 from Talladega. Wilkerson gets the jump, and we're going to get things going all over again. We have, at the very most, about a 19-lap run on this set before our 50-lap pit stops come into play. So expecting to see pit road get busy once again by the halfway marker. Drivers already going to be heading up high, and just like that, Wilkerson leads Max Molina, brings Wesley Kutznoff, Michael Deitch, and Henry Kaloff right there as well. Top side going to get busy, the low side there too, building up some speed. They'll be side by side, but it looks like the high side's got a major advantage advantage, and 31 laps in at a 100, Jacob Wilkerson's got the clear-cut lead as they come across the stripe. Checkered flag going to be flying in just about 70 laps time from this point onward, and now with exactly 69 laps to go, it's been a very nice start for Jacob Wilkerson. By all means, he is one of the contenders week in, week out who always has a chance at the race win. But here at Talladega, things are often very different because this track takes a lot from you, not only as an individual, but sort of as a group perspective. You've got to understand your surroundings, know the people you're racing with, and if you're able to work with them well enough, you'll have a much better chance of the win when all is said and done. Going way down low, you'll see Alex Jones right there with Andrew Cootie, not to mention it's going to be James Thurston side by side with that number 9, and hoping to have some Napa know-how here to get out of this situation. The low side really not paying off for now. You see often races at Talladega see the bottom line as the dominant groove, but tonight, not so much, and so far we've seen that low side really not do much of anything. Hoping to get a bit more going as the night continues, but so far just not having all too much success there. Ethan Workman going to be the number 4 spot right now in that Madden 2012 paint scheme, getting right back up there. Wesley Kutznoff is going to be rounding out the podium, but he's going to see some pressure as he finds himself now on the bottom side. He opts to stick with Jacob Wilkerson, and Max Molina opts to go high with his teammate in Ethan Workman. So teammates once again going to be putting themselves back into play, and the number 45 machine opts to go right up high as Jacob Wilkerson stays down low. PBR on one side, to Hub Motorsports on the other, and they'll stay neck and neck as they hope to come down the front straightaway all the same. Here at Talladega, the start-finish line pushed from the middle of the tri-oval onto the exit of this tri-oval portion, and they'll be back flat tracking it till the end, and they make it to the checkered flag. It'll be a run to the finish, not only to the tri-oval, but the extra 100 or so feet that come immediately thereafter. So Jacob Wilkerson going to be first, Wesley Kutznoff going to be second, and he's putting it in literally by the nose to be in the second spot as Max Molina wiggles way high, keeps things going nice and smooth. A very close call for Molina, and once again drivers a beaten bang, but luckily nothing else comes of it. Molina's going to slot back in the line, let the drivers keep going through, and some great racecraft and racing awareness from Max Molina to not interfere with the rest of the drivers and keep us under green instead of getting himself involved and getting a caution to bail him out. Just like that, Wilkerson has a bit less competition to deal with as the high side comes apart. No momentum up top, and 35 laps in this time by, Wilkerson has the edge, and just like that, his low side comes back into power. The bottom side, as we've seen so often here at Talladega, is the preferred group from many drivers, and for them, that distance that's cut means all the difference. If you can be able to shave off about a few tenths of a second, a few tenths of a mile at the same time, it could be the difference between winning and losing, and having that bottom groove and a photo finish sometimes helps you as well. iRacing timing and scoring is a bit different from the real world, but operates on the same principles. In particular, when it comes down to how photo finishes are scored, it's the fuel cell that really calculates where the driver is and not the nose of their car. So if you have that advantage and you're dropping your fuel cell down lower on the track, you might have cut a bit more distance, and as a result, you could be the winner of a race might have not had a chance to be the winner of otherwise. Now, of course, admins could review that in that instance, but in that special case, alongside, of course, the fact you don't have to put as much effort around the track and run your fuel out, the bottom side reigns supreme for many drivers, and now you'll see the principle of the low line being the best once again coming into handy here. Jacob Wilkerson goes up top, gonna block now his teammate in Ethan Workman. They'll go 3 wide once again. Workman goes up top. Anthony Tripp is gonna split them 3, go down the middle, and just like that, they're side by side all over again. Take a look off the back bumper right now of Jacob Wilkerson to see how it's like with all the pressure right behind him. And Wilkerson leading down the back straightaway, getting a bumper full of Andrew Cootie, and you'll see Cootie is not going to relent anytime soon. Defending winner and the road course ringer here in the FORL Cup Series, Andrew Cootie sweeps the road courses and currently has 3 wins to his name. However, has yet to get it done this season at an oval and hasn't won at an oval since Daytona last season. It's almost like we mention that just about every week, but hammering that point in that his victories, while often in this series, they have not come at the place where we most often race. He simply has been consistent at winning just about everywhere else, every other opportunity. Winning, of course, Circuit of the Americas 2 seasons in a row, winning at Sonoma, winning at Watkins Glen. He's one of the winningest drivers in competition in this league overall and has only gotten 1 oval win throughout the entirety of his career. Speaks volumes to the way that Andrew Cootie's been an influence in a different way than most other juggernauts in the series, and despite the fact he's not often had that opportunity to make things happen here when he turns strictly left, he's still one of the drivers not to mess with on a week-by-week basis, and I feel that someday he's going to be able to break through and snap that streak. He's got a lot of momentum behind him right now after that Watkins Glen win that came out of nowhere. James Thurston, the dominant man for 38 of 40 laps, and all of a sudden he goes off and goes way wide out of sorts, and he gets a penalty during iRacing. He gets a slow down penalty, and Andrew Cootie just flies through and gets it back just like that. James Thurston tries to hold on, makes contact with Andrew Cootie. They beat and bang, but overall, that number 9 machine just barely able to hold on, and Cootie, a winner again, and the defending winner, and he's got a rookie talent that everyone's been keeping watch of right behind him. Jacob Wilkerson, this number 43, if there's any other driver as reputable in this league, it has to be Wilkerson. That's how good he's been in his very first full-time season of competition. Finds himself right down low in the 5th place right now, and for Wilkerson, the multi-time winner who actually leads the league and wins right now, finds himself fighting once again, but a new set of teammates at the front of the field, and Ancient World brings it 1-2. Joey Stone and Justin Mons up in front. Mons coming off his career best finish, and it was at Watkins Glen, a 2nd place run. Joey Stone looking for a 2nd win of the season, and just like that, the pretty and pink duo up in front has full control. Stone goes up top, gets a push from his teammate, and just like that, teamwork making the dream work. It's going to be Joey Stone and Justin Mons, 1st and 2nd respectively. Andrew Cootie dropping way down low and bringing Wilkerson right there with them. Just like that, gonna split it and control both lanes, hoping to divide and conquer. Ancient World's got the top 2 lanes in full control, but Andrew Cootie's got Jacob Wilkerson now, so that might come to pass. And Wilkerson has been relentless all night long. If he has a chance to get to the back bumper and shove it, he will do so, and no qualms about it. So right now, if you're a driver like Cootie, guy like Trippier or Ethan Workman, you know there's gonna be a rocket ship coming up in the next few laps, and with how long we've gone on pit road cycles, we're already halfway through this fuel run. So 41 laps in of 100. Expect to run down to pit road by lap number 50, as it's going to be Joey Stone and now Justin Mons fading back intentionally. They get those laps led, and they fade back into the distance. They had their fun. Now time to get back to business, and Ethan Workman leads the way. Workman going to find himself up in front. Anthony Trippi then 2nd, and Andrew Cootie now in 3rd. It's going to be a new pack of front runners, single file, as they come across the stripe, this time by pit cycle expected at lap number 50, so we're going to have ourselves a halfway pit cycle, your 3rd time on pit road tonight, and given the fact we had 1 caution already, we should be seeing 5 pit stops the way things are going, and that should be the most of it. So 5 pit stops, a minimum of 4 no matter what, and 5th is expected too. That's how drivers are going to have to run here at Talladega. Only 1 retiree, technically speaking, and that is in Zach Milano, who still has trouble being on pit road for a total of now 22 laps. Hunter Bogdan, 1 lap down, is in the pack, but is not with your leaders as it stands. And now it's going to be Ethan Workman going way down low with assistance from Anthony Trippi, and teammates running the exact same paint schemes or different variations of it. The Madden 2012 crew is now 1st and 2nd, and just like that, it's going to be a new pair at the head of the field with James Thurston assisting Jacob Wilkerson right up top. And right now, not only are those teammates working together, but guys just have to find other drivers to work with right now, even if they aren't the best of friends. Wilkerson and James Thurston, we've seen them time and time again battle for wins. Things have gotten heated, but in the heat of the moment right now at Talladega, it's in your best interest to put away those biases and step aside from what you've seen in the past and put into perspective the bigger picture. You cannot afford to bank your entire race on one driver, especially if you intend to not work well with them. You got to understand that every driver is a tool you can use to get up in front, and right now, Jacob Wilkerson and James Thurston alike are some of the best of which at the driver's disposal all throughout this race. So with those two drivers paired with one another, it's a match made in heaven to get back up in front, and that's what they do. Leaders now going to be Jacob Wilkerson, James Thurston going to be second, Ethan Workman is third, and Andrew Cootie is now position number 4. Just like that, Anthony Trippi's going to be side by side there. So it's going to be Trippy and Alex Jones going at each other. Anthony Trippi's going to be right there on the high side. Alex Jones down on the bottom. Henry Kaloff going to be Joseph Lewis as it stands, and Brandon Rismel are going to be 9th in that number 95. Michael Deitch going to round out the top 10 with Wesley Kutznoff in the 11th, and it's going to be then from there Ross Collette and Max Molina getting stacked up. Contact with Rismiller, he keeps it straight. Whitlock is there too, and all of a sudden guys bundle up in the back of the field and get pushy and shovey, but nothing much comes of it. Luckily, drivers keep it all straight. Now, that could have been much worse. Luckily, it wasn't, and the drivers in the rear of the field opt to stay in full control. Nice to see as Wilkerson will lead him across the line once again. Jacob Wilkerson leads, James Thurston is second, Ethan Workman is third, and Andrew Cootie is then in fourth, and that's the way they roll. Now, single file as it's going to be Zach Milano back on the track after a 23-minute stay. Road. How about that? I'll tell you this much, it takes our breath away once again. And the magnitude of that pit stop, well, it might have taken him out of racing contention for the win. Milano, he wants to win, and of course, no opportunity right now, but he wants to race that much more. Given the chance here by McConey setup shop with the rookie stripes on, he will not give up this first race no matter what, and Zach keeps things going at 20th and last right now, 24 laps behind the leaders. And now Workman comes through this time by as the third place driver with James Thurston second and Jacob Wilkerson, your leading man. And the leaders all still getting ready for another pit cycle. You'll see mostly single file right now. A lot of guys going down to the bottom side, and that's going to make it a bit easier to run down a pit road because these drivers know if you make that left turn, you want the room to immediately go in. Don't want anyone obstructing your view of pit road, and more importantly, obstructing your path directly down. So for a driver like Jacob Wilkerson, having that clean air really means he can go wherever he needs to. But for a guy like Thurston, well, how about Ethan Workman? Not to mention Cootie or Trippy alike, if you're not up there directly as the leader, you could be blocked on the way in, and that could cause a major chain reaction, the likes of which we of course want to stray from in competitive racing. So as they come through this time by, prepared to go down to pit road within the next 3 laps. That's the way they get set. Michael Deitch is going to fade back to 9th right now. Wesley Kutznoff is going to be 10th. Max Molina is 11th, and Chance Parker is then in 12th, with Original 13th, Whitlock 14th, and Joey Stone rounding out your top 15. Justin Mullins going to be 16th place right now, and it looks like Ross Cornell is 17th. 18th spot's going to be Dustin Pickle, and that's the way they roll. 47 laps in, 18 drivers on the lead lap. Jacob Wilkerson going to be the first of which, and double file is faded out of style. You'll see Workman is going to see his teammate there, and it looks like now the Madden machines run at 3rd and 4th respectively as the field jets by. Drivers taking their chances and come down in. Ross Corlett, Dustin Pickle, Hunter Bogdan all coming through this time by. A small pack leads us through, and just like that, pit road gets busy. How about that? We got it going on. It's going to be another small group making it in to kick off everything, and they'll start the fire and let the drivers come through as it burns on. Pit road is busy once again for your second green flag cycle, and Jacob Wilkerson leads them as we're single file all over again indeed. And and a repetition of how we went at it last time by, and hopefully this time we'll see a few more drivers stick with the leaders, but as we mentioned, that's a big challenge. Very quick pit times for most of these guys. I mean, Dustin Pickle has a 32-second stop, not all what he needs, but the rest of the guys here, I mean, Hunter Bogdan gets off well with a 31.5-second stop. Class of the cycle here is 30.8 in Ross Corlett, so Corlett is quick, and just like that, that's going to be the pit stop time to beat. A 30.8-second marker is the best so far, but some drivers here have gotten in the 26.9 threshold. Ethan Workman got down to the 26.9s last time around. He's still on track as a second big wave comes in. No trouble this time by as the field flies down a pit road. Michael Deitch going to be there, Anthony Trippi, James Thurston, not to mention Henry Kaloff, Wesley Kutznoff, and Joseph Lewis with Brandon Rismiller there as well. A smaller pack up in front is going to leave guys like Cootie, Jones, Parker, Stone, and Justin Mons all together and all alone. Now the end goal for a guy like Alex Jones to get that draft right now and pull right into Andrew Cootie and drop in like you're the leader. They're going to jet in a pit road this time by. A bit more of an aggressive lunge from Andrew Cootie as they go through. One driver is going to abandon his run in, and it looks like Chance Parker had himself way wide, but makes it in all the same. Workman leads them, and just like that, they'll jet down a pit road. 49 laps in, heading down to 50 next time by. Your leaders are through, and now Wesley Kutznoff and James Thurston get away up in front. Fastest pit stop that time guy is going to be a 30.1 second time for Wesley Kutznoff, so under yellow the pit stop times are just about as quick, if not faster, and it looks like right now the latter is the case. 4-car bundle we're looking at right here. How about another 5-car group with Kaloff and company? Leaders right now going to be getting going. Alex Jones, Justin Mons, Joey Stone, and Andrew Cootie, and they're going to have a bit of a gap separated by about 1.3 seconds, so huge deficits already being put into place once again as Thurston is going to make it by in the second pack. It's most likely he catches up to the leaders right now, which will make it about a 6 or 7-car grouping up in front, if not the perfect string, because now Joey Stone and Justin Mons both know they've got a chance to get right in the tail of these leaders and make it happen all over again. Looks to be perfect to get that draft going, and just like that, Thurston doing an awful lot to get the race lead. Just might not be enough. Very close to sealing the deal, but he's got a lot of competition right behind him. Green flag still going this time by. 50 laps in out of 100, and next time by will be our halfway point. So how's about this time around? We ride on board with your race leading driver and James Thurston's number 4 machine. And at the line that time through James Thurston, you'll see it looks calmer than it really is, because right now that front end perspective is all clean. Look right behind him. And you've got a sea of drivers competing for that race lead right there on his back bumper. Wilkerson, Workman, Cootie, Wesley, Kutznoff alike. That's your top 5 right now. And a sea of competitive drivers looking to make something happen for their own sake right there for the taking. 49 laps to go this time by. We find ourselves past the halfway marker. 1 caution so far and a great start to the race here in Talladega. A shorter pit cycle strategy has been giving us a bit more of a unique look at plate racing in its entirety. Instead of having long drawn out runs that get ended by cautions, the pit cycle will allow for guys to separate from one another and find themselves up in the front of the field with the best of the best managing the ins and outs of this race, which will mean a smaller group, a faster group, and a better group to get all the way to the end. Right now an 8-car pack is the one that leads the field. 9th is going to be occupied by Alex Jones. He's right there as well. Then you'll see 10th place is Brandon Rismiller, Henry Kaloff right there, Maxim Lena, and these drivers are 5 flat seconds behind Alex Jones and 6 seconds behind your leader, so a lot of time to make back up for these guys here who are in this second group, knowing it's not over, but also knowing how far you are. It's a dilemma mentally to understand where you are at and where you can go, because on one hand, you understand it's far from done, and there's a lot of time for things to recover in your favor, but at the same time, might just be done here and now in the instance of you trying to win the race. You just gotta settle for the spot you can get. A top 10 is technically still on the table. I mean, Brandon Rismiller is running 10th right now, but that's the only spot they can get. Overall, it might be a night that goes down the drain for some of these guys if we stay under green, while Thurston, Wilkerson, and his company up front have all but guaranteed a top 10 finish. Well, it looks like now Rismiller is going to be catching up to this second group that has backed off just a bit. Looks like Joey Stone, Alex Jones, Justin Mons have decided to let off the throttle and get the run going for their own sake, while Brandon Rismiller has made up about 1.3 seconds on this second group. Now, I don't think that's quite enough, but they're fast, and that time by was a 49.961 for Brandon Rismiller, as opposed to a 51.328 for Alex Jones. Now they'll be tucked in the line once again, and Thurston not getting an aggressive shove right now from Wilkerson, but certainly enough to keep that gap manageable and in the leader's favor. At the line all over again, 47 laps to go. Thurston leads them and still has Wilkerson in his back pocket, as the leaders that time by have a gap and an advantage of 3.3 seconds. Rismiller going to be right there in 10th, Kaloff 11th, Molina 12th, and Chance Parker right now 13th. This is the second pack of 3 that are going on the track right now. The third pack is much smaller, and it's only going to be 2 drivers with one another, Joseph Lewis and Dustin Pickle. Dustin Pickle and Joseph Lewis alike having some trouble down on pit road. Joseph Lewis with the slowest pit stop of all, once again, a 37.1 second effort, and Dustin Pickle, while not as slow, had still one of the worst efforts in the field in terms of pit timing. A 32.3 second time down pit road, gonna isolate him from the entirety of the pack, and now 20 seconds behind your leader. Not at all where you want to be, as he finds himself now 18th, racing with Joseph Lewis. Number 99 machine not in the field tonight, but the number 95 here runs in 10th. That is still Brandon Rismiller holding on with his second pack. Single file for the most part up at the head of the field. It is all the same, and the drivers now logging those laps in, understanding the next fuel cycle might be the one that matters the most. With 50 laps to go, just about, we had our what could be penultimate pit cycle, and now we'll wait about 19 laps to find out what is next. However, mathematically, we should see at least one more attempt down to pit road, if not 2, so things are not done in the slightest in regards to how strategy will play out all throughout the rest of this event. By all means, stick around for this one. We are not done, and it looks like we're only just beginning the final run to the finish. A winner is yet to be decided. The playoff picture will change once again, and the round of the 11, it's going to be here and now beginning. The 11 best in the business coming through for the second round of the FORL Cup Series playoffs in Season 3 so far, giving us thrillers, and the first round exit of James Thurston leads the way, 57 laps in of 100. Now, even though Thurston was not able to win at Watkins Glen and lock himself in, he knows how good of a talent he is. He's the regular season champion this season. He missed the race due to a suspension, and that's what cost him a chance at the championship. So for that reason, he understands he is still up there racing for wins, racing for all he has, and he knows that a win tonight will still mean an awful lot, maybe even more than if he was fighting for a title all the same. Coming through this time by 44 laps remaining, set to go down to 43, and the SP Designs 266 keeps the show on the road. Jacob Wilkerson going to be second, Ethan Workman third, and Andrew Cootie fourth, with Wesley Kutznoff rounding out that top 5 and looking further back. Second pack is coming and coming quick. Going to be stranded out, Hunter Bogdan letting them get back up there, and just like that, the 2 packs combine into one. We got ourselves a big group all together right now. Look on board with Henry Kaloff and Brandon Rismiller as they begin to catch up to the best of the best and get the pack once again in full formation. And you'll see right now with Henry Kaloff and the back bumper of Brandon Rismo, these drivers fought and clawed all throughout the night to get to this point, and just like that, 59 laps in, these two, the 63 and the number 95 respectively, have led their pack back up to leaders, and just like that, it's James Thurston leading the wheels and, of course, leading the way of an entire pack right behind him. Got a total now, what appears to be a total of 16 drivers in this group, and 16 of the 20 on track are right there with your leading drivers, and they're all still in contention. After all we've seen so far, one more pit stop mandatory for the field, and we came down to pit row with about 51 laps to go, 50 laps to go, give or take, which means we'll have ourselves another pit cycle with about 32 laps remaining, and it'll get us back going for what could be the end. If not, we're getting one more. Depends on how drivers run their strategy, because right now we are in the range to split the rest of this race, which means that if a driver chooses to come down early right now, then get a pit stop later, they'll go all the way to the end, maybe a slight advantage. Now it's going to be a mathematical conundrum, because you have to choose when to go down for your first stop. Then, when do you go down for your second? Not only does his first pit stop matter, but the one immediately thereafter means that much more. And we'll see ourselves with a multi-top pit stop race here in Talladega. Multiple drivers at the top of the field, spinning back and forth, and pit stops have been especially prevalent. And tonight at Talladega, as we've seen, nothing is a guarantee. 40 laps to go this time by, with Thurston leading, Wilkerson second, and now Ethan Workman rounding out the top three. And with a bit of blinking right there, you'll see the field rush by. And right now, for a driver who's made up a lot of time, a pair that's made up a lot of time, it's the Ancient World number 8 machine of Joey Stone and the Ancient World number 49 of Justin Mons. These two drivers are coming from the back of the field all the way right back up. And I'll tell you this much, the Pretty and Pink duo has been able to make things work all season long, and especially as of recent, their teamwork has been unparalleled. These two drivers led some laps earlier in this race, got their time up there before our next pit cycle, and now put themselves back in a firm position just beyond the confines of the top 5. Representing Tango Paints and Ancient World tonight, including McConey's setup shop on Justin Mons and his number 49. There's a lot to drive for here for this team. The final week of October, and as always for Ancient World, the breast cancer awareness paint teams back on display for the 10th month of the year. You're seeing it's going to be variations of the same design. Pink on the outside for Mons, pink on the inside for Joey Stone. These two drivers have been putting up great efforts as of recent. A career week last time around for Justin Mons, and a great rookie season for Joey Stone. Playoff eligible still in the round of 11, and Justin Mons coming into his own late in the season. Maybe a chance at the race win just ahead of us. And it goes to show major improvements and major strides taken by this team to develop from, of course, a newcomer at Daytona to a championship contender and a race win contender come tonight in Talladega. So it's far from over right now for those two drivers. They're going to be running in the middle of this lead pack, still far from done, as James Thurston continuing at a push and the shove each and every time around. He's got it up there, and Jacob Wilkerson has become a bit more complacent, but he knows he's not going to act like this in the final few laps. Right now, 38 laps remaining. Wilkerson remains on the back bumper, and it's Ethan Workman there still in third. Cooley's going to be fourth. Wesley Kutznoff's going to be fifth, and Anthony Trippi then sixth, as that's how they roll with Stone, Mons, Jones, and Brandon Rismo. They're top 10 as it stands. 38 laps to go this time by, and tell you this much, a round of 11, a big deal all the same. The point standings as it stands to show you who's in and who's out. Coming into tonight, Jacob Wilkerson is your points leader. Max Molina is then second, and Andrew Coody finds himself in third. He's tied for a second, but the tiebreaker goes to Max Molina. Then Ross Colette on the back of a great first round, still going to be there in fourth, and Joey Stone rounds out the top 5 with Ethan Workman 6th, Michael Deitch 7th, Henry Kaloff 8th, Chance Parker 9th, and then Dustin Pickle 10th with Alex Jones 11th and last. Keep this in mind though, the round of 7 is up next, which means that coming into this night, Michael Deitch was the man on the bubble, 7th place, and from there on up, these guys are a bit safer. I would say that Jacob Wilkerson is almost effectively locked in as long as he makes every race up next, and Max Molina, Andrew Coody, Ross Corlett are in relatively safe spots. They've got to keep the performance up if they want to really seal the deal and make it known that they're going going to fight for the championship once again. For guys like Joey Stone on back, it's not a done deal. You got to keep on fighting. And the round of 7 being oh so close, don't give up just yet. Keep it going this time by 36 laps to go within 5 laps of another pit cycle, and it's going to be Thurston, Wilkerson, Workman, the 1, 2, 3 up in front, and they kept it that way single file for quite a long time here. Logging laps, and right now, of course, not as exciting visually, but there's a lot of implications each and every time by. It might not be conveyed in the way these guys are driving, but they know what hangs in the balance of these next 35 laps. Coming across the stripe with 35 laps to go, 66 laps in, Thurston still holds that advantage. Jacob Wilkerson second, and Ethan Workman then third. And take a look further back, the second pack is still 2 drivers. They only lost about 4 seconds in the last few laps of action, and they'll decide to come down to pit road early. Dustin Pickle is in. He'll take Joseph Lewis right there too, and just like that, down to pit road, they'll take it. The W Energy 28 is down and in. He'll bring Dustin Pickle at the same time, and pit road once again active, and with 35 laps to go, the penultimate cycle is in full swing. James Thurston first, Wilkerson second, Workman third. The way they've run so far, but they're set up to change things, as you'll see down low. Zach Milano goes into pit road once again for extensive damage repair. He's been down on pit road for 5 minutes and opts to disconnect back and forth. See, that's going to be permanent as Zach Milano exits the cockpit once more. Joseph Lewis on your screen gets off of pit road. He's now 1 lap down. Dustin Pickle, same song, second verse, and they're both on the circuit yet again. Dustin Pickle gets loose in the grass, and he keeps it going, but that could have been troublesome, and as you saw, he got the speed up and kicked it into gear, and he kicked it on the apron, so that's going to be a bit of a mistake, of course, to mention, but luckily nothing else comes of it, and a minor mistake cost him that much more time, with Joseph Lewis now vastly ahead as Jacob Wilkerson comes down and in. This time by, Workman maintains his spot up in front, but Thurston jets in and takes Jacob right there with him. Andrew Cootie comes in as well, and it's going to be Henry Haloff, Hunter Whitlock, Ross Corlett, Michael Deitch, all coming through at the same time, and they'll back it into pit road all at once. 33 laps to go. This time by, Michael Deitch is in. You'll see also there Henry Kaloff, Whitlock, Corlett, all coming through. Just like that, 1 pack remains on the track, and they'll come down going to 32 laps to go. And right now, with 33 remaining, more than 2/3 deep, this is the final stretch, and these drivers know crunch time in full effect. Going to be a wiggle off the pit road, but nothing major, as it's going to be Thurston and Cootie getting the jump. Andrew Cootie gets the best of the best, and they keep it going all the same as pit road time to get active one more time. Dropping down big, the rest of the field comes in, except for Workman, Stone, Mons, and Parker, and another group comes through. No issues this time by, as you'll see exits for guys like Cootie and Thurston. Entries for Riz Miller, Alex Jones, and Max Molina come through all the same. And coming through once again, Ethan Workman, now going to be the lone of the big 3 who remains out on the track, deciding instead to stay on the circuit as opposed to running anything crazy. But you see he drops way down low of the apron there, loses that time, and going to try to slingshot back up here in the final lap before his pit stop. 69 laps in, and a very nice ride so far for Joey Stone, getting that lead as he's set to come down to pit road this time around. And as Joey Stone makes it in, he'll bring Justin Mons there, and here they go once again across the stripe. It looks like they're going to opt to extend their run on pit road another time around. Anthony Trippi going to be passed by Cootie and company, and just like that, it's going to be Cootie, Thurston, Wilkerson making gains and find themselves up in front, gunning through like a jet at the line. Joey Stone, Justin Mons, and Chance Parker have about a 35-second advantage over Andrew Cootie and the rest of the field, which would be enough to cycle in at about the 5th place overall if they get backed up to speed very, very well. So not enough to really hold on to the lead, but still a very great performance so far for the guys who opt to stay out long. It's a risk, and we'll see whether or not it's worth taking, as now we see Joey Stone opting to come down to pit road this time by. It's going to be Stone, Mons, Parker, and Joey Stone going to look down low, get down below the commitment line, and just like that, their final run in down through pit road to end this cycle, and with 31 laps to go, it's Stone coming through with his teammates and Chance Parker as well. Not to mention Ethan Workman runs long and chooses to risk it at the same time. Now you'll see James Thurston coming about, and he'll bring Wilkerson, Andrew Cootie, and even Anthony Trippi all coming around at the same time. Gap though to Anthony Trippi is about 4 seconds right now, and that's a huge distance to keep up with, unless of course he gets that help from Wesley Kutznoff and the like. It's going to be Henry Kaloff, Michael Deitch, Hunter Whitlock, Max Molina, and Brandon Rismiller all having to work together, because leaders get such a big jump that it might not mean enough to be up there by yourself. And take a look at this, Justin Mons, James Thurston, they'll be side by side, and just like that, new race leader Thurston gets to the top, and top spot goes once again to that number 4 machine with 30 laps remaining. A passing of the torch, and Thurston gets it right back up there. And that's what we mean by holding on for about the 5th place. Joey Stone is going to be 4th, Chance Parker is 5th, Ethan Workman is 6th, and Justin Mons is in 7th. So they find themselves in the middle of the top 10, and just like that, back on the way all the same. So it's going to be another solid pit run, gets a few spots out of it, but the big 3 now comprises the number 9, the 43, and the number 4. 30 laps to go this time by, and courtesy of iRacing Motorsport Simulations, we got a special offer for all of our FTN viewers we'd love to share with you. 30 laps to go this time by will bring you your one and only iRacing promotional break on the day, as iRacing got a special opportunity to join this platform with the lowest prices throughout its 15-year history. We'll be right back after this brief break, courtesy of iRacing.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And coming back now with 28 laps remaining, once again, iRacing Motorsport Simulations extends their special offer to join the platform with discounted rates all throughout the rest of 2023. Be sure to check out iRacing.com for discounts of over 40% off through the rest of the year. Black Friday sale coming up, our Christmas sale coming there too. For all new members, discounts of at least 40% off the rest of the year. We'd love to have you join the iRacing platform and find yourself here in the fun on FTN. In addition, eNASCAR Newsletter, your one-stop shop for all sim racing information, particularly in the eNASCAR world, powered by iRacing and the entire eNASCAR crew. Whether it is about the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, the number 1 shop, and of course the number 1 place to go for all of your eNASCAR action, they've got it there. They've got, of course, information about the world's biggest stock car racing prize pool in the virtual realm, $300,000 prize pool in the Coke Series, with a $100,000 prize going to the overall season winner each and every time around. It's been a fantastic last few seasons in the Coke Series with high stakes, high pressure, and incredible events going alongside it. And for all eNASCAR news from the road to pro all the way up, check out the eNASCAR newsletter by scanning the QR code on your screen. We'd love to have you join the fun, courtesy of FTN, iRacing, and eNASCAR. Check out the eNASCAR newsletter today. And come back to the action this time by, it's going to be James Thurston, Jacob Wilkerson, and Andrew Cootie ahead by a margin of 6 seconds. The big 3 have made big strides, and just like that, Joey Stone and the rest of the field have not been able to catch up just yet. They have been able to make themselves a bigger group, but it doesn't mean they've gotten any faster. That time by was a 49.824 for James Thurston and a 49.825 for Jacob Wilkerson. For Joey Stone, it was a 50.12, and for Ethan Workman, a 50.119. So really, it's about 0.3 of a second each and every lap. And while it might not sound major when you keep compounding that damage time after time, that loss of speed, loss of ability to get back up there, it's almost irredeemable. And it's just not going to work out for a guy like Thurston or the guys who are up in front to lose that time on purpose. Some drivers who are in the middle of the field, they'll be a bit nicer to the rest of the guys. They'll say, I'll drop back about a second, you get back to my back bumper, and we'll keep on driving. Here for these guys, no reason to. These are the most relentless competitors in this series. Thurston, of course, finds himself as not a playoff driver, but he's still going for all he's got as a race-winning contender week in, week out. Jacob Wilkerson, the rookie phenomenon, finds himself up in front once again, and 76 laps in his drive for 5 victories. He's hoping it won't be denied tonight. Andrew Cootie, he's been the road course ringer. He's got a story to tell, and he's got a reason to fight as they go through lap machines this time by. You see that number 9 just wants to make the move, but knows he's still got a lot of time to hold off on it. He has been desperately waiting for a chance to win an oval, and while he's been the road course specialist as of recent, he knows his true pace is here on the left turners. 24 laps to go this time by, and the leaders are going to catch up to some lap machines. Dustin Pickle looks to also include Hunter Whitlock, or no, Joseph Lewis, and Hunter Bogdan, as a matter of fact. Just like that, Lewis drops in, and we might see some lappers get with the lead field here and maybe turn some heads, get some speed, and keep the buffer here for your drivers like Thurston and the like. They've got a 7-second advantage over Joey Stone, and Joey Stone has been running very well just outside the podium, but simply not enough right now, and it doesn't matter who you put in charge of that line. It's so far back that nobody in particular would be able to save it unless the guys ahead like Thurston or Wilkerson make a major mistake, which is what you got to really pray on or bank on right now. You're not going to get that chance to get up there naturally up in front. With 23 laps to go this time by, our next up on the agenda is 22 laps to go. And for TrackCams22.com, high quality iRacing cameras for tracks and cars, over 100 combinations of content, your one-stop shop, TrackCams22.com. Visit TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams for all the information you love to see about all iRacing cameras, whether you're a broadcaster or you work with sim racing photography. This time by, we're coming through to crank it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. And returning with 17 laps remaining, the Big Three has flown away to now a 9-second lead, an insurmountable gap naturally with some lap cars buffering them as well. Alex Jones the phrase, they find themselves ahead now by nearly 10 full seconds. It's Joey Stone still 4th, Justin Mons 5th, Anthony Trippi 6th, and Henry Kaloff then in 7th. A natural strategic race here in the FORL Cup Series coming down to the final few laps. And if you join us for the first time tonight, great to have you here watching live on FTN. I've been commentating and producing all throughout tonight's action. David Kreutz here at FTN. And if you enjoy tonight's broadcast, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Subscribing to the channel gives you unlimited chat room access. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Bryce Hamrick in chat room telling us that the pit window is now open. And that's right, we need one more pit stop to get to the end no matter what. And that's how extreme the pit cycles have been all throughout the night. A maximum length of 19 laps, the shortest in FORL Cup Series history. The tire strategy, the fuel strategy is all pushed to the limit tonight, 110% no matter what. So only 3 drivers have really been able to get away from the rest of them. Alex Jones is the lap machine right behind. The rest of your guys, they're mostly all together, but they're just not racing for the win right now. The big pack is going to comprise about 8 drivers. You see Chance Parker, Ethan Workman, Michael Deitch, Henry Kaloff, Anthony Trippi, and Justin Mons with Joey Stone. Not to mention the lap machine of Hunter Bogdan right there too. This is the majority of your field that is still going. Only one retiree on the night so far in Zach Milano. He retired and he's now 50 laps down. And it looks like for the rest of the field, they've kept on going. Only one caution as Alex Jones comes out of pit road this time by, bringing himself in with Cootie and James Thurston. Drivers coming this time through, and your leaders are in. Just like that, the Big Three are through, and we got ourselves a cycle all over again. The Wilkerson machine, the number 43, up in front, and this is the money stop for every driver. And we got to see who comes out first, as it looks like the advantage is going to go clearly to James Thurston, and Thurston guns through, just gets around, and barely makes it by. James Thurston gets the lead off of pit road. Now the question, who's up next? Joey Stone leads the race, but he's got himself a minor advantage over the rest of this pack because Justin Mons is still right there. Anthony Trippi, not to mention, is in third too. 15 laps to go, and things are ramping up as pit road is expected to get even busier. Nobody goes that time by. It looks like they're going to wait a little bit longer and hope that what they've got in store is better than going in immediately. The undercut can be played by some drivers, not by others. You'll see it's going to be Rizmo, Kushner, Ross Corlett. Brandon Rizmo's now going to be further on back, but Hunter Whitlock is there too. Just like that, 14 laps to go. They make it around in good pace, except for the number 5 machine, and get bunched together all over again. Now time to see what they've got in store for this front-running group. Stone and company are going to be the final drivers that make it in, and they're going to try to split this to make sure they don't go in super late and make it to the end without any trouble. 14 laps to go. This is the final pit stop cycle of the day, no matter what, save for a yellow flag, and Joey Stone opts to even further himself and stay on the track instead of making it in that time through. And just like that, a baker's dozen remains. 13 laps to go this time by, with Justin Mons still runner-up to his ancient world teammate in Joey Stone. A fan favorite in Joey Stone all season long, leads the way and has that advantage. The SV Design 266, a beaten banging race all throughout, has led us to a more strategic finish of the night. Only one caution so far in 88 laps. A very impressive night once again, and matching a great race we had at Daytona, if not exceeding it. And it really goes to show how good we've had it all throughout the season in clean races, no matter where we go. Now Michael Deitch comes in, takes Anthony Trippi, also goes with Henry Kaloff, and this leads 4 drivers to stay on the track by themselves. It's going to be a pair of 2 with Chance Parker and Anthony Trippi. Then from there, you're also going to see Justin Mons and Joey Stone, who have refused to go in, and they will try to go as long as possible until the bitter end. It's been a relentless push for the ancient world machines, pretty in pink up in front, and the leaders again. But Chance Parker and Nathan Workman are still right there, and their goal is to get that draft and run as deep as they can in the pit road and make a risky entry. Now, pit road entries, you haven't seen any risks being taken so far. These guys are largely holding it together, largely keeping it clean, and maybe a few scuffs on the tire here and there, but nothing dramatic. This time by, Joey Stone makes it in, hoping to keep the drama away, and that he will do. Now it's going to be side by side with his teammate Mons, and Justin drives it in very deep, makes it down to pit road speed at 55 miles an hour, and takes the rest of them right in. 4-car bundle in this time by, and now time to see what they got in store. James Thurston is only 18 seconds back already. No doubt this 3-car bundle going to get back in the lead. Now the question is, who's going to fight for fourth, and how can they pull away with the spot they have? 12 laps to go this time by, coming down to only 11. James Thurston, Jacob Wilkerson, and Andrew Cootie take a much larger lead, and Workman's now going to be way back there and forth with Joey Stone rounding out the top 5. That's the way they rode it with 11 laps remaining. The final of the double digits coming right up next, and now we have a battle for fourth already in play, as I see Michael Deitch is only 2.5 seconds back at full speed, should be able to catch up. And as we go through this time by, let's ride on board with Michael Deitch as he continues to chase down Mons and his teammate and Joey Stone down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Down the stretch that time by, Michael Deitch makes up a second and gets back into drafting territory. So the battle for fourth is not done, and while it looked to be open and shut between this small bundle, it looks like now they're wide open once again. 10 laps to go this time by, with Andrew Cooney, Jacob Wilkerson, and James Thurston up in front. 91 laps in of 100, and the back straightaway, while largely empty, sees the leaders come by time and time again, knowing how close they are to victory lane, and in spite of that, how far away they are from really locking themselves in. 3 great drivers who have put in fantastic performances so far. Strategy, speed, everything, all of the above, quite frankly. And now that they're here all alone, they know one thing: only competition will be themselves. Alex Jones remains in the back of the field right now, of course, being the final driver in this bundle. He's not a leading driver. He's 1 lap down and is looking back, looking on to watch this battle, and he has the best seat in the house. However, he's not going to interfere with these guys, knowing the circumstances and knowing how important it is for all 3 of them. I mean, for James Thurston, he would have loved to have that win at the Glen. However, in all honesty, he should not have been racing night. As a matter of fact, a penalty has been alleviated temporarily to allow him to race at Talladega. However, next week he will be suspended. That's the word being given by race control, that a 2-week suspension was simply not given this week, and instead it's going to be a 1-week suspension pushed back next time around. So James Thurston given a black flag, but not for this race, given that for the next. So keep that in mind. James Thurston, you see him tonight, and he's going to give one of a very few remaining opportunities to get that win. He'll lose one next week, and then from there has to pull it together in the final nights of the championship battle. 8 laps to go under green all the same. He is your leader right now and remains that way, with Wilkerson second and Andrew Cootie third. Joey Stone, he's 11 seconds back and fourth, and fifth is going to be Justin Mons right there. To see a big bundle going to be swerving way up and down. Ethan Workman right there with his teammate Anthony Trippi, and just like that, the second pack gets right together, and 8 laps remain all the same. 8 laps to go this time by, and you'll see the pack get a bit more aggressive with each other, knowing that right now, unlike anything else we've seen before, you really find yourself gridlocked without any trouble. This is the pack you've got until the end, and either you like it or you make some passes to get by your competitors here. 7 laps to go for the drivers who just got by the start-finish line. Not too far back, you'll see Joey Stone and company make it through. Looking on board with Andrew Cootie right now, you'll see a bit of a different view as he's got lap machines behind, leaders ahead, and finds himself stuck in the middle of an aggressive lead fight. right there in the third spot. He's got the best chance to make a slingshot maneuver and go all the way to the end. He's got the draft of not one but two hard-charging drivers, and if James Thurston has to block Wilkerson, that leaves it wide open for Andrew Coote to go for another chance at the checkered flag. It'll be his fourth, which keeps pace with Jacob Wilkerson himself. And despite the fact there's still not been an oval victory on this campaign, Andrew Coote remains a lethal threat week in, week out, and is right there when the going gets rough, no matter when. He just has not been able to make it happen, and his advantages have not been major. Race in, race out on oval. The road courses, he comes in clutch, finds that situation to make it by, but he's had a bit more trouble here in what they may consider a easier circuit, only turning left. It has proven to be a bit more difficult for Andrew Coote, making it through for his very first oval win in Season 3. That could change though, but Jacob Wilkerson and James Thurston will not make it easy as they come across this time by for only 5 laps to go. Here we go again, and Thurston leads a single file crew as now 13 seconds behind. Michael Deitch finds himself fourth, and he's going to get shot up the track with a fantastic save. My oh my for Michael Deitch, a huge drive up high, and he keeps it together 3 wide, and he stays up there, drifting up top. Michael Deitch stays straight, and while he loses time, he is not going to be down and out just yet. Michael Deitch, 5 laps to go, just barely keeps it together. And a very close call there from Michael Deitch. And the number 57 machine going to be right there still in top 5 contention, but sliding all the way up through the front straightaway. With all the banking there, you could easily get turned around and lose all your control. Michael Deitch, not so much. And a great recovery effort in immediate time. And just like that, we keep under green with Thurston, Wilkerson, and Coote continuing their fight up in front. Michael Deitch right now going to be 7th, and Joey Stone then 8th. Henry Kaloff getting 9th, and the single digits conclude with Henry as Chance Parker currently rounds out the top 10. Not a great run right now for Max Molina, Dustin Pickle, or Ross Corlett. All playoff contenders right now who find themselves very far off the pace. Matter of fact, Corlett just went 1 lap down, and he's going to go 1 more lap down. As a matter of fact, he's 2 down as it stands. 18th place for the number 91 machine, and he fades back even further. 4 laps left. And James Thurston going to come across the stripe this time by to make it only 3 laps to go. 98 laps in, this is the final stretch, and Thurston finds himself there with a lead. Wilkerson's not too far back. Coote's still there as well, and even though the guys behind are fighting each other even harder, they're still very far off the leading pace. Now 18 seconds behind as the top 3 continue to get away. Watch on board right now with James Thurston as he takes him across the backstretch once again. Coming around this time by only 5 more miles left. James Thurston leads, Wilkerson 2nd, and Andrew Coote right there in 3rd. Going to be Workman 4th, and Justin Mons in 5th. 6th place going to be held by Joey Stone as they come across the line here. It's a very small amount of time for anything more to happen. If we get to that white flag, the race is official, and it'll be a 1 caution night. 21 seconds back, this second group is. And while most spots will be determined right here, it is not going to be the lead determined by this bunch. They may be up there in the front of the field, but they are not up there with the lead pack, as now the pack is whittled down to your 3 best in the field. James Thurston, a first-round playoff exit from a regular season championship, knows he's been denied a shot to go forward, and he wants to prove once and for all he's not done yet winning here in the FORL Cup Series. 1 lap to go this time by, the white flag will fly, and the SP Designs 266. Thurston leads, Wilkerson there, and Andrew Coote not too far behind, going through 1 and 2 one more time. Down the Alabama gang super stretch, they keep it up and down, beating and banging for the first time with major contact. Andrew Coote holds on right behind. Wilkerson has not made a move just yet and is going to charge up a run on the back bumper directly. Cootie looks up high. Hunter Bogdan doesn't go with him. He has to go immediately right down to the bottom. Wilkerson is right there and keeps pushing as they come across the stripe. This time by James Thurston's got it down low, and now Wilkerson goes right up top with a textbook move. They'll beat and bang at the top, but Wilkerson's got the run, and at the line, a drag race goes to Jacob Wilkerson. A textbook move gives him the win once again, and the drive for 5 is successful. Jacob Wilkerson wins once more and gets it done in the FP Designs 266. Wilkerson, a winner again, gets it done in a textbook play right up top and finishes the job once more as a continuous championship contender. Jacob Wilkerson will win from James Thurston, Andrew Cooley third. As the burnout begins, stay tuned immediately after for your top 3 interviews to wrap off the night. Wilkerson comes down to burn down the house and celebrate the race victory. Now to the start-finish line, Wilkerson will go, and we're going to follow him with our drone cameras here as he begins to burn down the house. And as Jacob Wilkerson takes it back to the start-finish line, the burnout already in full swing. Time to put it back down there on the start-finish line and finish off another piece of FORL history, continuing an especially successful rookie season. Wilkerson wins again and gets it done here from Talladega. And with Wilkerson coming through, and according to time and scoring, James Thurston has just been disqualified after the race. Not quite sure the reason, and it looks like the call is going to be made for James Thurston to be given a disqualification, and it does not look like on time and scoring that has been reflected. Whether or not that is an official call or something made immediately after results are made official has yet to be seen. That's what iRacing is telling us right now, but nothing more coming through from any chatter from any driver. So it looks like nothing much else. The drivers are now going to be coming through this time by. Your unofficial results go as follows. Jacob Wilkerson will win from James Thurston by 81 thousandths of a second, with Andrew Judy then in third, Joey Stone fourth, Anthony Trippi fifth, and Ethan Workman position number 6. It's going to be Michael Deitch then in 7th, Justin Mons in 8th, with Henry Kaloff then in the 9th spot, Chance Parker 10th, 11th, Max Molina, and Wesley Kutznoff and in 12th. Going to be Brandon Rismo, 13th and 14th, held by Alex Jones, 1 lap down, with Dustin Pickle 15th, Joseph Lewis 16th, Ross Corlett in 17th, and Hunter Whitlock position number 18. 19th is going to be Hunter Bogdan, and 20th and last on the field, it's going to be Zach Milano, the final of your 20 entries here in the SP Designs 266. And after a hard-fought night, once again, James Thurston seeing a close call, but it looks like tonight does not work out, as they're going to be going through this time by. It looks like James Thurston's going to serve a points disqualification to ensure that he'll race next time around. Of course, that's going to be a suspension taken to have no point validated. James Thurston, second place on the day. That's going to be official, but no points awarded. Either way, it's going to be Jacob Wilkerson getting it done, and the number 43 comes through on top, winning once again with a textbook move in a photo finish race to the line. Checkered flag, and you keep seeing them round after round. Wilkerson, how's it feel to open up the round of 11, once again a winner?
It feels really good. Winning the first race of the round of 11 feels good, just like I won the first race of the round of 15. That race was kind of boring, I guess you could say. The top three pulled away literally 20 seconds. And I think we only had one caution, and we had to pit I think 6 times. So yeah, I feel like if we didn't have to pit so many times, it would have probably been a better finish, and also the pack would have probably been a bigger pack. But yeah, feels good to win at Talladega. I think sweeping all the restrictor plates this season after winning Daytona, and we come here and win Talladega. So yeah, it feels good.
Getting it done with such a small group up in front, only 3 drivers during green flag pit stops able to break away by a substantial amount. You being one of those sets you up for a great finish no matter what. So how is it understanding what move to make on that final run to the finish with so much time to prepare?
I was just committed to Thurston on the final lap, and I just waited and waited until the perfect time, which was in the travel, and that side draft is just what got me the win. I knew I had it won after the side draft. There was nothing Thurston could have done. You don't want to be leading on the last lap because you're just a sitting duck, and they could literally just blow right past you. So yeah, feels good to get another win and immediately advance to the next round.
And another advance, so it looks like this round already not going to be much to worry about for you, but looking forward to what is next. Of course, we're bringing up the schedule on our end. Still, the round not done. You've got that lock-in victory here at Talladega. Once again, already locked into the round of 7, but next up on the campaign, heading from Talladega, up next it's going to be Kansas for a total of 120 laps, the second time we got to Kansas this season. What's it going to take to go back there and maybe go for another strong run in Tornado Alley?
I'm pretty excited to go to Kansas. That's one of my best tracks. I finished second earlier this season at Kansas. It could have been a win, but I feel really good going into Kansas, especially after finishing second earlier this season. And we just gotta be patient and take care of the car, and just get a good qualifying run, save our tires, and just dominate the race, hopefully.
And hoping to keep the checkered flags coming, Jacob Wilkerson, a familiar place, getting it done here in the SP Designs 266. Any final thoughts to wrap off this event?
Thanks to everyone watching. I got to thank Tadra for giving me the opportunity to race for PBR. Got to thank my partners, McConey Setup Shop and Burnt Rubber Racing Warehouse. And it's been so far a fun playoff season, and looking forward to Kansas, and hopefully we could keep this up and make it to the championship and hopefully win the championship at Homestead.
And keeping the championship fight alive, Jacob Wilkerson wins another one here at Talladega, second time winning a super speedway this season. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now, Jacob Wilkerson on the move, your second place driver, a technical situation. He'll be serving a points disqualification. However, second place is officially recognized. So for James Thurston, runner-up on the day by 81 thousandths of a second, getting it done. Although the point situation of mine, you still finish here in second. How do you feel?
It's probably the least upset second place that I've ever gotten at Talladega, to be honest. Yeah, I wish I could have won. I think I would have won if I didn't go up to chase Wilkerson. I think if I didn't chase him up the track, I don't think he would have gotten enough of a run on me to beat me, but, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm just happy that we got to go green that long. At that point, the worst I could have finished was third, so it's not that bad, but I mean, even though I don't care about points, they disqualified me so I could race next week because they said they were going to disqualify me, or not disqualify me, but like not let me race this race, but they let me do it anyways. So no points, but we got to race. Yeah, we were able to go green that whole last stint, and we had a 3-car breakaway after one of the pit stop cycles, and we pulled 22 seconds on the the second pack, and I mean that's yeah, that's probably the most fun that I've had in a Dega race on a green flag run. But yeah, sad we couldn't bring home the win, but it's yeah, I'll take second. It wasn't dirty. We raced pretty clean for it. Raced respectfully. I'm happy.
And respectful racing's been a theme this year of the super speedway tracks. Only one caution at Daytona and Talladega alike. And tonight, green flag pit stops were in an abundance. I mean, 5 pit stops, nothing else we've seen like it in all of FORL's history. So, much different strategy. How does it feel to come through with that strategy in mind? One of the only 3 to really break away well.
Yeah, the strategy was pretty interesting. I think that we could have. I could have done that if I just had like 2 or 3 other drivers working with me. I wasn't working with anybody. I was not in VC with like anyone who was in the main pack. But like I was getting some like super fast stops early in the race, and I was pulling out like a second or 2 seconds ahead of everyone else, and I'd have to like slow down just so I didn't get too far out in front. And yeah, I mean, it was just a matter of time until some of us did something like that, where we just all just hammered down on one of the stops and just broke away. Then, I mean, after that, we just worked together so well and we're so fast by ourselves that it didn't really matter what the second pack did because they weren't working together as well as we were, and it showed on the scoring pylon and on track. It's just that's just a pretty cool thing that you don't normally see at super speedway racing, and I think that. I think that there was not enough fuel. I think pitting every 20 laps was a little bit crazy. Maybe we should make it to pit every like 30 laps or so. But yeah, I had fun. Thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports for the fast car. Beautiful paint scheme for this race. Trying to pay tribute to Kevin Harvick when he won here. Unfortunately, we lost in the way that Jamie McMurray lost. When Harvick won, so yeah, there's that. But just yeah, happy to bring it home. Second, not wreck. But yeah, great race.
Another clean night for the number 4 crew. Second place once again here. James Thurston, runner-up on the day here in Talladega. Anything else you'd like to add after this event?
I guess I'm gonna try to get redemption at Kansas. That race should have been mine earlier this season, and I'm pretty sure there's the next race on the schedule. Last time I looked, I might be wrong, but yeah, we're gonna try to come back and see if we can win. That's all I'm here for. Just wins.
And hoping to chase more checkered flags, James Thurston, a runner-up on the day by 81 thousandths of a second, comes through with another podium finish despite the circumstances. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now with James Thurston all on the move, one final driver inside the top 3 on today, Andrew Cootie in the number 9, and after a successful run at Watkins Glen, getting the win, back-to-back podiums, this time the bottom step of the top 3. Third place at Talladega. How do you feel after this one?
I feel great. Hi. I'm just finishing up points here for you, for the stream and for the league. But yeah, I feel great. That 22-second lead we had there was pretty fun. A lot of people were talking about how it probably shouldn't have happened, but it was just on fuel. The fuel strategy was fun. I enjoyed that. I felt like I was racing Rod Car again. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Kansas, and then not looking forward to Dover. I can tell you that for sure. That's not going to be fun for me. I'm not a Dover guy, or Vegas. Vegas is going to be tough. But yeah, I'm just thankful I was able to get back in it and have a shot at the end. And I wanted to push Wilkerson. I wanted to see if he would pull out, at the end or on the backstretch, because then I'd, definitely have a shot. But that wasn't the case, and we took home a third. Well, now technically second because of the DQ with Thurston because did you talk about it? Did you interview him? I didn't look.
We got Thurston in early.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So he was technically DQ'd because he wasn't supposed to race this week, and I was shoving my face full of Arby's when I noticed it, and I literally timed it perfectly to sit down and race right as I finished my food, and I didn't even realize it until we started going green, and we didn't realize, or I didn't say anything until the first caution. I'm like, should Thurston not be here? And so we just discussed it after the fact with Thurston, and so we got a DQ through Thurston, or for Thurston, and he'll just be able to race at Kansas next week. So that definitely is interesting, to say the least. Probably shouldn't have happened, but there's nothing we can do now, and we'll go on to Kansas. The round will reset after Kansas, and we'll have our 7, and we'll go on it over. But if you want me to, I can read the bottom 4 real fast.
Well, we'd love to hear what's going on after this one at Talladega.
All right. So the bottom 4, the cut line, the person in 11th is Dustin Pickle. He is 11th with 29 points. So he's about 6 points below the cut line. Alex Jones is 2 points above him in 10th with 2031, which is 4 points below the cut. And then Ross is 9th. Ross Corlett is 9th with 2033. That one is -2. And then Chance Parker's -1 to the cut. And that one is that's 8th. His number is Chance Parker. So yeah, we got our 6 right now. Wilkerson, me, Joey, Molina, Workman, Deitch, and Kalhoff. As far as I know, Deitch is not attending next week, so he might be below, leaving. So we've got at least 1 open spot up for grabs into the next round. So any of them can take it. But thanks to CTH Motorsports and Ross and Dustin and Bryce for race controlling, even though he's a teammate. Milano for racing. That car looks beautiful. But yeah, we're looking forward to Kansas, and yeah. Oh, and thanks to Maconi Setup Shop. Forgot about that. Maconi just got on board about 2 weeks ago, and yeah, we got him on the cars, and the cars are starting to look a little bit better since we got our first true sponsor. So yeah, we'll go on to Kansas.
And there we have it. Andrew Kuya rounds out the top 3 today, finishing it off strong with a podium finish here in Talladega. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course. Let's go get that 4th winner sticker.
Now, Andrew Cootie on the move. One final driver here waiting for an interview. Your 4th place driver on the day, and Joey Stone coming through with a very strong run for the Ancient World crew. 4th place. Joey Stone, how do you feel?
I feel great. Actually got confirmation from the race admins and crew that we actually got bumped up to 3rd with the DQ of the 4 car. So podium, nonetheless, for our number 8 Ancient World machine, which is great for the playoffs, honestly. Talladega is one of those tracks that you can go in with so much confidence, but you can come out of there with just the steering wheel and no car. So hate the race kind of played out like that. You never want to see a race at Talladega end like that based on fuel and just single file the whole time. But we'll take the points day. It's really good for us. This was the race I had circled that was going to be kind of that make or break for the playoffs for us. If we came out with a good finish, I felt really confident about the rest of the schedule and kind of moving on forward into the playoffs. And we did just that. Congrats to Wilkerson on the win. I wish we could have actually raced it out with him and Cootie up there, plate racing style, but that's just not how it worked out tonight. Shout out to my teammate Justin for helping me and for all the Chevys and everyone working together. We made it to the finish. That's the most important part.
And making it to the finish is, of course, a big deal with your playoff standing in mind. Coming in course, in the top 5, and now with another solid run, firmly in the round of 7 cutoff for now. Next up, Kansas. What's it going to take to move on to the Tornado Alley and improve on what you got so far?
Don't wreck like we did earlier this year. I think we raced Kansas earlier this year. It was either that or Chicagoland, but I mean, no matter what, 2 similar tracks, and if I think we raced at Kansas earlier this year, and we had such a good car. I mean, I remember driving up into the top 5, and there was just a little bit of a racing deal. Got into the wall, got some damage, and couldn't really recover from it. Just keeping the car clean. There's no need to go out there and be a hero. I'm no mathematician, but I think we got a pretty good points gap to the cutoff. So we just gotta put a nice clean race together. Don't worry about everyone around you. Just run the track, run your race, and let everyone else do what they gotta do. And we'll see how it goes. If it comes out to the end when we're fighting for a win, we'll go for a win. If not, we'll keep it clean and do our best to move on to the round of 7. Just keep doing what I've been doing all season long. Take care of the car, keep it clean, stay out of trouble, and let the good finishes come. And we've been doing that all season long, and there's no need to change that now. Just really, really excited, feeling really confident about these tracks coming up, and really excited to see what our number eight Ancient World gaming machine can do.
And a lot of confidence moving into the final races of the season. Joey Stone bumped up the 3rd in points tonight after a hard-fought battle at Talladega. Anything more you'd like to leave us with to wrap off the event?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, big thank you to all my partners, Ancient World Gaming, Antonio Williams, the boss man this week, the running CEO, all of our partners, of course, Cutscene, Next Level Racing, Baconi Setup Shop, and all those amazing people. Shout out to my teammate Justin for being just one heck of a teammate all season, all night long. Shout out to the boys, the hub. We worked together real well tonight, just trying to make sure all our cars made it to the finish. And of course, shout out to you guys for putting on a good show as always every single week. So we'll be back next week, and hopefully I'll be talking to you guys next week as well.
And there we have it. Joey Stone wraps up the top 3 in our point standing for Talladega tonight. Podium finish as James Thurston bumped down to the disqualification. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
But Joey Stone on the way. Our final driver we speak tonight finishes overall in the 4th position, but podium finish technically given our point scenario. Andrew Cootie is going to be 3rd. James Thurston disqualified from the 2nd place, and Jacob Wilkerson gets it done again as we replay the photo finish. It's a textbook move, and it works out all the same. Wilkerson a winner, getting it done in the SP Designs 266. Guys, thank y'all for watching live again on FTN. I've been your host for all tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed tonight's action, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. We thank you all for watching this presentation of the SP Designs 266, the 17th race of the FORL Cup Series Season 3. And once again, we hope you all have a fantastic night. I hope to see you all whenever we're live again on FTN.